Why are you here this morning?
Jimmy Quinn.
What is the purpose of every one of you attending this meeting? Why join Toastmasters? Some of you are here to improve your speaking skills, no doubt. Some are here because they like joining clubs, like the social aspect of it. Some are here and have came in support of their spouses and have become members. Some are here because they're great dancers. Speaking is just another part of the aspect of performing. I'm going to speak a little bit this morning about the reason that I have become Toastmaster. Some of you have heard this story before. I'm going to give you a little more depth today. It was about 5 years ago that I found myself giving a presentation. It was in a county south of us. I was making a presentation for a project. Most of you know that I'm an architect. And traditionally, I pursue public sector work. And that public sector work, in many cases, has us standing before some public committee, making a presentation, and trying to sell our qualifications. Why would you select my firm? Because we are the best qualified, and I will simply explain to you the reasons why you select us. Typically, these presentations are 30 to 45 minutes in length and involve multiple people. It's not just myself speaking. It's usually a team of people. We all have our role, and we all stand up and talk about what we're there to do. So here I found myself in this presentation, and I just have to give you a little background here. It was a very large project, about $150 million. So for our firm, it was a serious pursuit, serious consideration, because it was a large fee for us. And because of the size of the project, we felt it was necessary to bring some big guns in for this presentation. So with me was one of our managing principals of the firm, one of the 4 guys that run our firm nationally. The gentleman that was also, the next gentleman was also our justice sector leader. So he was the person in charge of justice nationally for our entire company, and myself, and I think we had an engineer with us. Not civil or environmental, I think it was mechanical engineer. And engineer. My role in the project was to be the client liaison, the project manager. I was the point of contact, I was the go-to guy. When the client needed to pick up the phone and speak to someone of the design team, I was the guy. So that was my designated role in this project. We got up, we started our presentation, and we said everything we came to say, made our formal presentation. As typical of these sessions, there is a question and answer session following our presentation. And the committee was seated in the room, where there's probably 30 people in this room. And the questions suddenly focus on the project manager, myself. And much like our infamous table topics, there were questions that I had no way to prepare for. But they were all becoming very much an attack on me personally. And this is something that's very different. A lot of us don't experience this in Toastmasters because we're a very supportive group. We're not actually used to making a presentation when it becomes adversarial, in which the people that you're presenting to are going to dispute and argue with what you're telling them. They don't accept it at face value. They say, well, Mr. Gibson, it says right here that you, on your resume, that you were the project manager of this project in such and such location. Can you tell us something about that project? Well, that was an easy one. Oh, well, sure, I can tell you about that project. Mr. Gibson, it says right here on your resume that you were an architect assigned to this project and not the project manager. Well, that's true. I was 30 years old and had not risen to the role of a project manager yet, and I was an architect assigned to the project. Well, Mr. Gibson, on this project, says you were an intern architect, and so it went on and on and on like this, and this gentleman just kept attacking my resume. And as he continued to do this, my frustration level, of course, grew, and I started locking up. I didn't know how to respond to this. I had never been attacked publicly in a room when someone was really attacking my credibility, saying, essentially, I don't really believe what's on your resume. I think there's something wrong here. I'm seeing something wrong here. There was nothing wrong. I have a very deep resume into the project type that I specialize in. And what I experienced in the next 30 minutes, this went on for 30 minutes, if you can believe this, what I experienced in the next 30 minutes can only be described as terror. Absolute terror, because I realized I had no skills at dealing with this kind of situation. I could certainly stand up and without much trouble talk about my experiences and what I know, but when someone actually attacks you personally, I was at a loss for words. I didn't know how to respond. I kept responding basically with the same thing I said before. Well, it wasn't my experience, and well, you know, I'm starting to stammer. I'm starting to lose my cool. I'm starting to get frustrated. I'm sure my face was becoming red with, you know, almost with embarrassment. And finally, the gentleman who had been querying me stopped, passed it on to the gentleman next to him, and the process started all over again.
Oh.
Same exact thing. Mr. Gibson, your resume says this and this and this. 30 minutes. It was excruciating. I was absolutely not prepared for it. I had no skills to deal with that situation. And of course, no surprise, we did not get selected for the project. But of course, I had to do this in front of two of the most senior people in my company. They witnessed this whole thing. Afterwards, I said, you know, I am lacking something. There is something I should have been able to deal with that situation better. So I started thinking about what are the avenues in which I could better myself. Of course, I had heard about Toastmasters, and I found a clipping from the Toastmasters in the paper. And 4 years ago, I came to this club. We were at a different location at that time, another First Watch, very close by. Walked into the room and was petrified. I said, I hope this helps. And it has immensely. And today, I don't suffer any of those fears or qualms about having people ask me about my qualifications, because I stand up with confidence and say, yes, these are my qualifications. This is my experience. And it's kind of a take it or leave it sort of attitude now. This is what I do. And I realized in the end, probably that's what they were looking for more than anything, was a display of confidence. And I didn't have it at that time. And I feel today I do. So why are we here? We're here to better ourselves. And I wish all of you luck in that endeavor. Thank you very much.